Okay. I think I'm live. I hope it's picking up
Yeah, I think I'm
both of our
live too.
voices.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so I know this is a bit of an unorthodox way of discussing, but this is currently our only method. We don't have PCs and a camera and a mic to talk to each other over some sort of video, like FaceTime or something like that. So we are doing this. We're streaming. I have the Resident Evil 4 app open. Just I don't know, set the atmosphere of the mood or whatever,
Yep.
because I think it's appropriate.
Yeah, so do I. And we're just in the title screen, the main menu.
Yeah, yeah, that's where I'm at too. So we wanted to talk about the Resident Evil 4 remake today. This is probably not going to be too long of a video, maybe 15 minutes ish.
Yeah,
I've got the trailer pulled up so I could pause at certain screenshots and then we could talk about it.
yeah. The trailer for the remake that we've been waiting for just dropped a couple days ago, and we're so excited, and we kind of drew up the idea of doing this stream to talk about it. So that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, I hope everything's working well. It's like picking everything up. So the PlayStation State of Play. I believe I didn't watch it live, but I believe that it was Resident Evil 4 remake was the first trailer that played. I believe. So I've got the trailer pulled up, like I said, and we wanted to discuss like comparisons and how it looks so far and our expectations. Let's see here. Okay.
Yeah, I got the trailer too. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm on the screenshot of course you guys can't see it. I think I'm going to take this live stream down and edit our audio over the screenshot so you guys can see what exactly we're talking about. But for now, this live stream will do, and I'll edit that soon. So the first screenshot, I'm skipping past the title screen. So the first screenshot we see is of Leon talking to the president to obviously rescue Ashley Graham. Now, what's interesting about this is in the original Resident Evil 4, there was never any cutscenes with Leon and the president. It cuts to Leon driving down a desolated road with his supposed escorts to Europe, and he's obviously already in Europe to rescue Ashley.
Yeah.
And we see Leon and the president in the first cutscene.
Yeah, the original never really gave a backstory except you're going to rescue the president's daughter. It doesn't really talk much about it, but now that we got a little more of a backstory in the remake, and I think that's cool. And it's different from the original.
Yeah, very, very different. So I'm assuming this is obviously a cutscene. So in the game, we're going to get more of a backstory. We're going to get Leon conversing with the president and whatnot. Which is really, really cool. It's just going to add more depth to the game. And then I'm going to scroll to the next shot, which is Ashley. We see her in the same, I don't know if it's the exact same, but in a similar outfit. She's running kind of by like a little creek, running away from the Ganados, I assume. She's in a very similar outfit, as you can see, or you will see eventually when I edit this video. It's a very similar outfit to her original in the Resident Evil 4 remake, that sort of knitted sweatshirt that she wears that's sort of orangish red, brownish. It looks more orange in the remake. But again, a new cutscene and a new dynamic showing Ashley actually running away as opposed to you just finding her.
So I wonder if in the remake, like the game might start with you playing as Ashley trying to escape or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be actually really interesting because as everyone knows that's played Resident Evil 4, you do play as Ashley in about halfway through the game. You play as her, and you have to complete a puzzle. So I'm sure that there's going to be some sort of gameplay aspect with Ashley. If not her escaping from the Ganados, I'm sure they're going to do something where it's sort of similar to how you could play as her in Resident Evil 4, doing a puzzle or escaping through part of the castle system or something like that.
And I wonder if they're going to give Ashley more of a story development in this, meaning more gameplay, like you get to play as her more often, like kind of like what they did with Resident Evil 3 with Carlos in the remake, where you could play as him in multiple different parts of the game.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that too. I'm wondering how they're going to do the whole dynamic with Ashley. Now they're going to introduce her in the game. Maybe you don't play as her, at all. I don't know. We're just going to have to see. But yeah, sort of like the Resident Evil 3 remake, you get to play as Carlos, and they did that in the original too. You play as Carlos and you enter the hospital.
Yeah.
And the next shot we have, I can't really identify what it is. I think it's a wolf or a dog or something, but it's dead, and there's like 3 little candles by it. Nothing too much to discuss here besides obviously just the typical Resident Evil gore.
It might be kind of teasing those dogs that in the original you encounter those dogs in the maze at the castle.
Oh yeah. Yep. That's a good observation. Yeah, it could be one of those the infected dogs that kind of spurt those tentacles out of their back. Yeah. You encounter them, you encounter 3 of them in front of the church before you rescue Ashley, and then you encounter them mainly in the maze of the maze portion right before you enter the that sort of fancy, ornate white part of the castle as Leon.
Yeah, so it makes me wonder if we're gonna see them in the remake. That would be cool.
Yeah, that'd be very. I'd love to. I can't wait to see what type of enemies. Hopefully, they keep the majority of them because they really did well in the original. Let's see here. So the next shot, it comes quick, but we have Ada, and she is staring at. Gosh, this is so cool. She's staring at sort of this gate, this broken. It looks broken, like the right gate is kind of broken. She's staring at this entrance to assumed another portion of the village, maybe part of the castle on the outskirts of the castle. But Ada is confirmed, and it doesn't look like she's wearing a dress in this shot. It looks more like some sort of red coat. But we'll see when the game comes out if she wears the famous red dress.
You know, maybe part of the game, like the start of the game, she's wearing the dress, and then later she changes into something else. Could be a possibility.
Yeah. We're in the dark in a lot of this, so it's all speculation.
Yeah. So I noticed in the remake trailer, Ada's dressed a little bit more professionally for the kind of work she's doing, at least in the trailer.
That's a good observation. That's a really good observation. I never noticed that. Yeah, you'll see a screenshot later, but she's wearing sort of almost like a tactical red garment, like sort of shirt with the chest holster rig on, as opposed to just a little dress, which isn't fit for combat.
Of course, we really didn't get a good look at her legs, like what she's wearing on her legs, like is she wearing pants or a skirt or something like that. We haven't really gotten a good look at that yet, but who knows?
Right.
Who knows?
So the next shot is of Leon approaching, I think it's the cabin in the very beginning. Now, what's interesting about this is you see Leon walking, he's in his leather jacket, so you know it's the beginning of the game, because in this same trailer, oh my gosh, they are keeping so much of this game canonical to the original. There's a portion of the trailer where you see Leon looking at his arms, similar to how he did in the original, where he just got done with the fish boss, and he's looking at his arms. He's having that nightmare where he's becoming infected. In that shot, in the remake trailer that you're looking at right now, or that you're hearing us talk about, you can see he has his jacket off, and he's looking at his arms in a portion of the trailer. So we know the jacket is coming off, just like it did in the original.
Yeah, like in the original, the jacket got stolen by one of the Ganados, as you see in Ada's campaign, and so yeah, maybe they're gonna stay true to the original canon, which would be interesting, and have the jacket come off, like after Leon gets captured, for example. If he doesn't, we don't know yet.
So I think this is pretty much confirmed that he is going to that first house you enter before you reach the actual village. That first house Leon enters, where he encounters the man with the axe and he has to put him down. Because we can put clues together. In this trailer, you see Leon in the car leaning against the window like he does in the original with his jacket on at nighttime. And in this screenshot, it is nighttime, he has his jacket on, so I guarantee you this is him approaching that house, and something similar is going to go down where he's going to have to fight off Ganado for the first time.
Yeah, and what's interesting about this looks like almost identical to the house that we saw in the original, and
It
And
does.
what's interesting is in the original, the game starts out at daytime, and in the remake, it's night. Like the whole games I think gonna take place at night.
Yeah, yeah. They did yeah, they did definitely mix it up because the beginning of the game in the original that you're looking at right now, it starts during the daytime, like I assume, like morning or like kind of like early afternoon. But we do see that there's. We'll talk about the screenshot later. There's a part where Leon is laying in the boat, which is probably the fish boss, and it's daytime. So I think the time is going to change. I don't know if the weather is dynamic, meaning that it changes like in real time, or if it's like sort of segmented. Like no matter how long you stay in this area, it's going to be this it's going to be dark or it's going to be morning. Like I don't know if the lighting system, like if there's like real time like changing.
That would be cool.
That would be really cool.
Like the longer you stay in the area, the time changes would like a lot of open world games do. That would be very cool to see.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. Then the next screenshot, it's like right after Leon's standing outside of the cabin, we have him entering the cabin with his jacket on at night. You can see the sort of pale bluish gray lighting. It's over the shoulder shot of him entering the cabin, pushing the door open. And again, same lighting. So I think that is basically confirmed that he's going to be entering the cabin and maybe showing the picture of Ashley to the Ganado before he gets attacked.
And the cabin, even from the inside, from what we see so far, it looks almost just identical to the one in the original. Like
it does.
Like you walk through the door and you go to the left.
Yeah, that's a good observation. They're really, really staying faithful to the original, which is insane that they're putting in this much work because Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes were about 90% faithful, but there were some changes. In Resident Evil 3 remake, it was really different. It was really unrecognizable, honestly.
Which obviously it's a remake. It's not supposed to be completely identical to the original, so we can expect some changes. Which it's interesting to speculate what those are. So I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm interested. I'm interested mainly to see what they do with Krauser.
Yes. Oh man.
Because I hear a lot of people complaining about the trailer already, and the fact that they're doing a remake of 4. And
I don't get that because 4 I think needed to be remade just because it's such a timeless classic that like I mean you gotta try and remake it. But I'm a little worried that they I don't think they're gonna screw it up, but I am a little worried because they're taking a more horror aspect to this remake because the original Resident Evil 4 has some comedy in it. Like Leon's very quirky and he talks about Ashley's breasts and like it's funny. It's like it's a very scary sort of action oriented, slightly horror-ish game.
Yeah, and I kind of like Leon's personality in 4 and Lewis. I forgot Lewis.
Yes, Lewis.
They did show a little glimpse of him in the trailer, and I'm really interested to see all that with Lewis because he was very comedic in the original game, as you saw in the cabin before all the Ganados attack you and you're in the cabin and he's talking about Ashley's ballistics.
Yeah, I see the president's daughter is equipped with ballistics too. Yeah. Actually, my bad. Leon didn't say anything about her breasts. He said something about her butt when they jumped down the garbage area. I knew you'd be fine if you landed on your butt.
Yeah, she was almost upset with him.
Yeah. So the next shot we have. So this to me, I'm on the spinning title screen of Resident Evil 4. The screenshot in the remake we're looking at right now is of 3 skulls. It's right after the screenshot of Leon walking through the door. This looks like that entrance where you have to use the key in the village after you go into that house. You find that key in that little like chest. It looks like the door, the arch of that door, where you put that key in, and then that door that leads to that underground little area that leads into the church. It looks like that door. It's probably not, but it has that same sort of arch. You can see it right now in my stream. That red door with the that Las Plagas symbol right there. It looks like the same sort of door. So maybe it is. I don't know. But there's 3 skeletons hanging. And now, what I love again, they're so faithful because you can find 3 skulls hanging on pikes in the original Resident Evil 4.
Yeah, yes, they were so faithful, and just I can tell just by looking at the picture of the village from this screenshot that I have that you can't see. It looks like with the pyre, the burning pyre in the middle of the village, and all of that. They're so faithful.
Yeah, it's the exact same village setup, but obviously looking way better graphically, and it is the same setup. So what I'm looking at is Lewis. He has his Red 9, so it's confirmed that the Red 9 is making a return. Maybe Leon can't use it, but Lewis has it, and it's confirmed. He looks the same. He's wearing the same sort of jacket. You can see his nose and his lips if you pause it just right. But Lewis is making a return. It looks like he's standing in the castle portion because the wall is sort of a slimy brick as opposed to the log cabin texture. I don't know. Maybe the cabin has a totally different look. I don't know.
Mm. Yeah, that looks like the. Yeah. Speaking of the cabin, I wonder if we're gonna see that fight in the remake, or if they're gonna take it out. I hope they keep it in. I hope they keep it in.
I'm curious about that too. So the next thing I'm looking at now is a single Ganado, which I just noticed because it's very quick after the Lewis part. There's a single Ganado standing by a fire, the sort of boiling food in this huge kettle. Which I think is the Ganado that attacks Leon in the house at the very beginning, because it's a single Ganado. There's the same sort of table with food and looks like an apple maybe on it, some fruits and a pot of food. So I think this is there's like more fruit on the ground. It may be a different part of the game, but it looks like the first Ganado that Leon encounters.
Yeah, it looks like the beginning of the game is gonna play out very similar to the original, where Leon walks in the house. He's kind of unsure of the area and what's happened, and he's just asking around about the president's daughter. So he shows a picture, and that's when the Ganado attacks him. Yeah, I think it's going to play out very similar to that, is what I'm guessing.
Yeah. So far, they seem to be extremely faithful to everything that the original Resident Evil 4 offered. So then we get a shot of the Ganado's face. I don't know if this is Batoris Mendez. It might be, because it looks like this Ganado is wearing some sort of leather jacket, which no Ganados wore in the original. So I think this might be Batoris, honestly.
Yeah, and that makes me wonder what role he's going to play, and even the others later throughout the game. I wonder if they're going to play especially Batoris. I wonder if he's going to play like a stalker role, like in the Tyrant and Nemesis in Resident Evil 2 and 3.
Yeah, some people were talking about that. Some people were thinking that Batoris might take on the sort of Mr. X Nemesis role where he pursues you. And while I would like that, I think to me, it would seem like they just like copy the sort of coding, which is like from Nemesis or Mr. X, and then place it in Resident Evil 4, which sounds a little lazy to me. But I don't know. I think we'll have to see how that plays out. But of course, he's going to have animations that are totally his. He's going to have voice lines that are his. I'm sure it's not a complete copy, but I hope it's really unique, whatever they do with him.
Yeah, and of course, playing a stalker vibe, I don't know. Until I see it personally, it almost doesn't make sense, because in Resident Evil 4, the original Resident Evil 4, Batoris he's basically keeping Leon alive on purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he mentioned after he attacks you in the house that Leon carries the same blood, and he just let him live. So I don't know.
Right. Yeah, he's letting him live because he wants him to transform into a Ganado. So the next couple screenshots we see, there's a way far behind shot of a Los Illuminados, one of those Ganados, in the robes, in the sort of religious veil that they wear, cloak or robe, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, that would be in the castle.
Yep, so that is confirmed that the castle is coming. And then the next screenshot is of more of them. And they have, again, they seem so extremely faithful to the original, because there's a shot of 3 of them walking, and they look identical to how they looked in the original, just scaled with, like, graphically way better, which is crazy to me.
I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see how they handle the enemy AI. Because in the first two remakes they did as of recent, Resident Evil 2 and 3, we had regular zombies, but now we have Ganados. It'll be interesting to see how they change it up.
Yeah, that'll be really interesting. I'm wondering how the AI and everything is going to work with them since they're more aggressive and they're not sluggish like zombies.
Yeah.
Then it's very, very quick, but I have it on. I'm playing it on a quarter of the speed on YouTube, so I can pause at the right time. It looks like a female and a male Ganado, and this female Ganado looks very close again to the original, the one that wears the sort of bluish white dress that carries around the kitchen knife. And she even, it looks like she has her hair, I don't know if it's a female or a male, but it looks like the girl. It looks like that Ganado that has her hair and a ponytail that attacks you with a big butcher or kitchen knife. Which again, the faithfulness to the original is just off the charts. I mean, it really is.
Yes, yes. That's probably what I love most about it so far is how faithful they are to the original. I mean, obviously there are going to be different things, and things are going to be different, a little different, but it's just cool to me that they're staying
very cool,
faithful.
So, I'm now looking. We're looking at Ada again, and Ada. She's standing in. I think that castle portion. It might be the part where she attacks, quote, finger quotes, Leon. She's wearing a sort of a red textured turtleneck with like a chest rig on.
Yeah, where she's standing, it looks like that room that you enter right after you get out of the maze.
That is insane to me. Yeah, because she's in the exact same position as the original with the windows behind her. That is a good man. You're recognizing a lot of these faithfulness thing. Yeah, she's standing exactly how she did in the original. It's just crazy to me. If they remake it and it's this close to it, I'm gonna freak out.
So it is very safe to assume by now that this part's probably gonna play out sort of similar.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's gonna work out, but I think it's gonna play out sort of similar, where Ada kind of sneaks up on Leon in the little house there, and with the gun pointed at his back, whatnot. And they might change it up a little bit, but that's kind of what seems like it's gonna happen. In some way, she's gonna attack him like she did in the original.
Yeah. And I love their and they obviously brought back I forget the guy's name escapes me, but the man who voiced Leon in the Resident Evil 2 remake, he's back as Leon in the Resident Evil 4 remake, and it's the same character model too for Leon. Same for Ada, I think. I'm sure they're going to use the same model. They might make her look a little different. Her lips seem a little bit different. Her face structure seems a little different in that screenshot of her staring to the left in that sort of tactical garb she's wearing. But I really like the relationship in Resident Evil 2, the remake. It was sort of like a brother-sister arguing, bickering sort of thing, and I'm kind of excited to see how that's going to play out in the remake.
Of course, this Ada is... I have a safe bet that this Ada is going to be more true to how Ada is in the original Resident Evil games, where she's kind of a little bit more mysterious, a little bit more experienced, or way more experienced by now. Yeah.
She's very reserved. She's mostly a reserved character. In the Resident Evil 2 remake, she's a little more outgoing. She's still very, 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 very mysterious. But in 4, you barely see her. She's kind of like a ghost. She just disappears, runs off.
I wonder how they're gonna handle Ada's character in Resident Evil 4. I wonder if they're gonna give her her own campaign, like, separate ways.
Yeah.
Or maybe they'll do like Resident Evil 2, like they gave Leon a campaign and Claire a campaign. I wonder if they might do that. That would be interesting.
Yeah, that'd be extremely interesting. I'd love to. I'm really interested to see where they're going to go with Ada. So we have the next screenshot. Oh my gosh! Again, if you play the original enough, you're going to recognize a lot of similarities in this trailer. So it's a eagle bird eye view pointing down at Leon laying down in the boat. The same exact boat, basically. I don't see any harpoons, so you might fight it with your firearms this time. I'm not sure. But Leon is laying in the boat, in the water, in the middle of the water. He's not laying in like a small little rocky sort of cavern. Like, this obviously gives it away that this is basically the fish boss, or that whatever that name of that creature is.
The Delago, something like that.
Yes, yes, the Delago. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yep. I wonder how they're going to carry about this boss. It looks like it's going to play out if the fight even happens, or if they just get past it and just have him on the boat, go across the lake. I don't know yet. But I'm interested to see how the fight's going to happen, because in the original, you have to fight the big fish with harpoons, and you like attach a harpoon with a rope to the fish, and it just tows you around, and you got to just melt it with harpoons. So I'm curious to see how they're gonna play this out.
Me too. I'm excited beyond belief. Next screenshot we have it's a leather jacket, and this is what everyone's talking about. It's very Mr. X. It's very reminiscent of Mr. X in the Resident Evil 2 remake. So it's like a leather trench coat. So I think we can confirm safely that this is Torres Mendez, and it even has the exact same wallpaper and wooden sort of half and half that was in that house that was in that house that Leon was in when he encountered Torres. I think it was for the first was it the second time? Whenever he encountered Torres in the house, it even has in the screenshot the same wallpaper, and then the bottom half of the wall is wood. Same exact thing. It looks like the same house. Again, the continuity the faithfulness is just ridiculous. It's really cool.
I can't wait. Of course, I did see some people point out that I can't really see it that well. Does he have a hat?
It kind of looks like he does have a hat.
Because I saw some people on Facebook point that out.
Yeah. I'm kind of hoping he doesn't have a hat, and it was just because of trench coat and hat. I mean, it's basically another Mr. X. But it would be cool to actually fight him, like as a mini boss in the house, before you fight him in his sort of spidery, spiny form, which is actually really disturbing to this day.
Oh wow, we're about to see it in the remake. It's gonna get more disturbing.
Oh gosh. So then let's see what's after that. So again, sort of Mr. X vibes, standing in the house, and then if you pause it at the right time, you see Leon without his jacket, looking at his arms. I'm sure this is the nightmare sequence where he's seeing the virus take over, same as in the original. Again, it's just mind-boggling that they're sticking so close to the original. I mean, they're basically glued to each other. That's why I'm so excited.
Yes, that's what I was about to say. That too. That looks. It's like when he's having the nightmares and the parasites kind of running through his arms, his blood veins.
Yeah.
It's so mind-boggling. It's cool.
Yeah. Really, really cool. So there's a screenshot of Ashley's eye. She's just looking at something. I kind of skipped over that because doesn't tell too much. And then we have a screenshot of a Ganado holding an axe. I assume could be sort of like a scythe, but it looks to be an axe with sort of a curved bottom portion of the handle. And it looks like the one that has the unbuttoned shirt that. This is all the white hair. Obviously, it looks different. Doesn't really look like any particular Ganado in the original, but that's fine because as long as you could tell they're Ganados, we're good. It is an axe. Whoops, my bad. It is an axe. I didn't play it the rest of the way.
Yep, that's an axe. Yep, that's an axe.
Yeah, and then after that, I think we're seeing the. Whoa, hold on. Hold on. let me look at this again. So after that, I'm trying to pause this at the right time. I'm having to rewatch this and
that looks like the church.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That it looks exact. It even has the. Let me pause 1 second. I'm trying to get to it. 1 second. Wow. Oh my. Okay. So holy cow. Wow. It's the same. It's the same church. And at the graveyard, you can see it if you pause it at the right time. There's the fencing that runs up the right side of the graveyard, and the graveyard's in the front. And then you have the church building, and then if you remember in the original, you look up and there's like a sort of separate tower connected to kind of behind the church, and it's the good grief, it's the exact same setup as the original. You can actually see it if you see it in the title menu right now, spinning on my stream. You can see that second portion of the castle, that sort of tower, and you can see it here in the remake. if you watch the remake trailer.
Yeah, so that's where you're gonna, if the remake stays true to the original, that's where you're gonna rescue Ashley, and that's also where you're gonna encounter Sadler for the first time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
I can't wait to see Sadler too.
Yeah, I know. I think we're actually coming up on him in the trailer. Let me see. I think no. So there's another shot of the symbol. Kind of looks like the four winged key symbol from Resident Evil Village, but there's blood pouring out of the rocks, which could just be an aesthetic. I don't know if that's an actual cutscene, but we have blood pouring out of there. Nothing too specific. And then the next shot. Let's see here. I'm watching this on like quarter speed, so give me a second. I don't know if I missed Sadler.
That's Sadler. Yep.
So Sadler is confirmed, and once again, he looks just like he does in the original, which is really, really cool. Yep. So jeez. If you pause it at the right time, it's really quick. You can hear him talking, and then you can see his sort of tentacle eyeball stab. So he's probably going to turn into the monster he turns into at the end.
And that's gonna be insane to see what that looks like. That will obviously be the final boss.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I'm really excited for that. I can't wait to see what they do with him. Then one of the last few shots is, of course, Leon leaning against the window, which I posted on my Instagram because it is one of the most faithful shots in this trailer that we've seen. Because in the game, the original again, he leans on his left arm, he's in his jacket, and he's in the back seat, and this is exactly what's happening in the remake, which it's just crazy.
Obviously, this will be the beginning of the game. Yeah, that same exact pose is in the original. That's so cool to me.
Yeah, it's man.
And then you come to that shot after this. Oh well, if I can get it to play. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, you come to the shot right after that where he's looking at the picture of Ashley.
Yep.
Yep, he did that in the original too.
Yeah. Man. So far, literally everything that we're seeing is near 100% faithful to the original. So you can see on the Colin's looking at it right now, I think, and I'm looking at it, the photo of Ashley. You can even see he has, if you look real closely, you can. This is so insane. He has the same leg rig, like holsters and straps on his same pants too, the same dark blue, almost black cargo pants. So they're really, and the fingerless gloves, like they. I just can't believe it.
I can't wait to see how this game turns out, and I hope it's for the PlayStation 4.
Yeah, I do too. That's my biggest fear.
I've heard some people say it is going to be for the PS4, and some people say it won't. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm really hoping. Now, the last shot. Actually, this is the most faithful. I forgot to talk about the village photo, the photo of the village with the fire, because this trailer plays really fast, and if you don't pause it right, you'll miss a lot of things. But there is earlier in this trailer, there's a photo of the village with the man staked in the fire, and Leon's looking at it. So again, very faithful to the original.
Yes, I was looking at that picture earlier. That's what I was mentioning when I was looking at it. It's so accurate to the original village. Like you're in the village and the big pyre with the dead guy just impaled inside the fire. Yeah, right in the middle of the village.
And then we come to the most faithful shot, which I forgot about. This is the most faithful in my opinion. The last shot is Leon walking with the handgun up over his right shoulder, how he jogs and walks in the original. He holds his handgun up, kind of pointed up in the air, in his jacket, walking towards the village, and it's exactly the same. You can see the little house on the left, you can see the distant tower, and then so literally, we're going to be playing Resident Evil 4, but upscaled and way better, hopefully.
Yes, and he's standing the same, holding his gun the same. That looks like it's going to be where he's walking. That looks like right before the village fight. So that'll be interesting to see, like all the chainsaw and
yeah.
I
Oh
can't.
man,
I
yeah, they
can't.
didn't even show that. I can't wait.
It's gonna be interesting how they play that out.
Yeah, I can't wait to see all this on a new engine and new animations and whatnot.
I can't
Now,
wait.
if you guys notice, it's very quick, but it shows a photo of Leon in his jacket over the back shot, and it says PlayStation VR 2 content also in development. So it is confirmed that Resident Evil 4 is getting. Now, this is only sadly for the PS5, the VR2, because VR2 the PS4 can't handle. But for the PlayStation 5, VR2 PlayStation VR 2 content is coming for Resident Evil 4 Remake. So you get to play the game in VR. I can't believe it.
Resident Evil 4 and VR. Of course, they did that VR a while back
Yeah.
on the Oculus. It looked really cool, but now we're gonna see the remake in VR, which, man, that's insane.
Yeah. So that's really it for the trailer. I wanted to kind of close this out with a closing discussion. A lot of I've noticed, not a lot, but some people are very sort of worried about the Resident Evil 4 remake because a lot of people think it's too soon because it was made in 2005 and it's you can't really. A lot of people say you can't really improve on Resident Evil 4, but I say like it just needs that. I just want to see. Part of the fun is just wanting to see it with new graphics, with new animations, with the new story.
And Resident Evil 4 was still a long time ago.
Yeah.
I was a little kid when that game came out. It was
Yeah,
2005.
I was 6 years old.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I understand a remake, and of course I've seen a lot of people on Facebook and Instagram and stuff say that they would have rather have seen Code Veronica get remade first, which I think probably would have made more sense in counting continuity, but I really don't care because it's Resident Evil 4, and I've been waiting for this remake for so long.
Yeah. It started out as rumors.
Yeah.
We didn't know at first.
Yeah, of course, I still hope Code Veronica does get remade. That would be cool. But
Yes.
but for now, I just can't wait for the Resident Evil 4 remake to come out.
Yeah, man. So it started out as rumors, as did Resident Evil Village and Resident. I don't remember too much about Resident Evil 7 rumors, but Resident Evil 8, I think was rumored, or wasn't rumored. I think it was confirmed that it was in development. And Resident Evil 3 was rumored as well. But with 4, nobody knew if the rumors were true. Like everyone was. I didn't believe it. I mean, I believed it, but I also didn't. I was like, oh come on, really? Why are they remake? It just there's some things about the rumors that were going around that just seemed like a little too good to be true. It's
Yeah,
they were already making 4.
Yeah, it was the same thing with Resident Evil 2. Like rumors about Resident Evil 2 being remade existed ever since.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, ever since Resident Evil 6 came out, there were rumors about Resident Evil 2.
I didn't know that. Since 6? Wow.
Yeah, since 6. Like there.
2012. Holy crap.
Yeah. People were saying it was gonna get remade like Resident Evil 5 and 4 looked, and there were all sorts of different rumors about it that I remember.
Man, I don't really remember that, but yeah. So I think it's safe to say, for the most part, that in the future, if there's rumors about future Resident Evil games or any games being remade, that we can trust them. There was I think it was confirmed to be fake, but there was this screenshot of, I forget the voice actor. What's the voice actor for Resident Evil 5's Wesker? Let me look up his name.
Can't think of his name.
DC Douglas.
Yes.
Is who voiced Wesker in Resident Evil 5. So there was I think it was fake, but I don't know, maybe it was real. There's a screenshot of Wesker supposedly in the Resident Evil 4 remake, and he's got the sort of 90s cop brown chest holster that goes under the armpit, and he has his glasses on, but his face looks like the Resident Evil 5 model. And there was I think it might have been Photoshop, it might have been fake. There was a screenshot of a conversation between DC Douglas and one of his friends, and DC Douglas apparently sent the screenshot of Wesker leaked in the Resident Evil 4 remake and said, "Don't show anyone this, or I'm going to get fired." I think it was fake, but it is kind of ironic that was something that was floating around, and then the Resident Evil 4 remake actually ends up to be true.
Maybe they'll give Obviously, we know in Resident Evil 4, Ada's working for Wesker, so we might get a
Yeah.
little back. We might get a little backstory and see a little more of Wesker. I don't know yet.
Yeah, I'm thinking we will. And if DC Douglas makes a return as Wesker, oh my
I'm
goodness,
gonna, I'm
it's
gonna
going to
freak.
be it's going to be the best video game I've probably ever played because there's so much nostalgia tied into like Resident Evil 4 and 5 and 6. And not
Yes.
that there's like really any huge tie-ins to 6, mostly to 5 because Wesker and whatnot and
Yeah.
Leon.
Yeah.
But
Wesker's only mentioned in 6, as we
yeah,
know.
yeah,
You know, if you played the game. Yeah.
Jake and yeah. Um, But that'll just be the icing on the cake. The continuity, or not the continuity, the faithfulness to the original is what I'm really hoping for. Now it might be a little different. I think Leon's going to be more serious because so far we don't know yet. We haven't seen any gameplay. We've seen a little, but so this Resident Evil 4 remake seems much more serious and much more dark.
Yeah. It looks like it's gonna be much more gritty than the original.
Yeah, and I'd like a twist on that, but I do hope that Leon's quirks are still there because that's what made Resident Evil 4 fun. Is Leon's very witty and he cracks jokes and he's your right hand comes off like he's very quick on the draw.
Yeah, like when he's talking to Salazar before you have to climb the tower, like right before you fight him, and Salazar raises his hand and Leon just throws his knife.
I just can't believe it.
Can't
So-
believe it's finally being made.
So there's a if you listen to Leon's voice actor in this Resident Evil 4 remake trailer, you'll notice that his voice is deeper, it is grittier, and it's not as sort of young-ish adult child-like. There's no like childlike naivety to his voice as there was in the Resident Evil 2 remake. Because in the Resident Evil 2 remake, Leon's kind of naive and kiddish, and his voice is really high, and he's like really upbeat and whatnot.
Yeah, because as you know, in Resident Evil 2, he's a rookie cop at this point.
Yeah.
So he's not as experienced, and has virtually no training.
Yeah. Yeah. So in Resident Evil 4, he's he's a special agent now, and he's been through some stuff. So we're probably you can hear in the trailer Leon's voice is much deeper, not much deeper, but it's more grittier. He sounds more sad, more depressed. He's obviously suffering PTSD because he mentions if he could just forget the pain from that one day. So he's obviously suffering from the events of Resident Evil 2.
Yeah, that's obviously a reference to Raccoon City.
Yep.
It's gotta be.
Man. And you know that, so since he's mentioning, oh man, I just realized, since he mentions in that line, he basically mentions Raccoon City when he says, if I could just forget that one night or one day or whatever he said. I'm wondering if that's the opening monologue that's going to replace the original one in the original Resident Evil 4 where he says, 1998, I'll never forget it. But in this, he's like, if I could just forget that one day. That just came to my head, and I think that's what they're doing.
And so the remake's gonna have a little back. It's gonna like the original did with when telling Raccoon City, the story of Raccoon City. So the remake's gonna have something like that too, but it's gonna be a little different.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll actually show him talking about it in a cutscene or something like that, as opposed to this opening credits.
Yeah. I'm wondering if he'll, if he like talks to Ashley about that, or it'd be a little far fetched for him to talk to Ada about it. But I could see him talking to himself or talking to Lewis or one of his friends.
Obviously, though, in the original, there was that scene when he's tied up to Lewis in the house that he does mention Raccoon City.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
That may be what he might be. He might do that.
Yeah, because we remember that Lewis says he's a cop in Madrid in the original, and then Leon said he was a cop for only a day in Raccoon City. So
that's a good observation.
It doesn't seem too far fetched that he might actually mention it to Lewis in Amorum. more depressing tone, like he's very sad about it, PTSD.
Yeah, that's a good observation. So it's like three possible things. I mean, there's more possibilities, but there's the main ones are like it's the opening monologue with a cutscene. It's him talking to like Ashley or whoever talking to himself, and then obviously when he's tied up, which makes a lot of sense if you talk to Lewis about it, since in the original they both talk about themselves being cops.
Yep.
And Leon says, "I was only a cop for a day." Really, really cool. I really can't wait to see where this remake goes. Unfortunately, we're waiting about as long as we waited for when Resident Evil Village was announced. We waited about a year, so it's going to be about 9 months before we get our hands on it. But I'm sure we're going to get a demo in maybe 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, I'm sure. I cannot wait to see the demo. Of course, I remember when Resident Evil 7 was announced. I remember the wait for that.
Yeah.
I remember playing the demo for it. I was at your house when the demo was released, actually.
Were you really? I forgot about that.
I think so. We were in the basement.
Yeah.
We were in the basement just messing around on PlayStation Store or whatever, and we see this Resident Evil 7 demo.
Oh yeah, they'll drop randomly, and that's what I'm kind of antsy for. Is one day getting on the PlayStation Store and seeing the Resident Evil 4 remake demo, which I'm just going to lose my shit if I just like. Honestly, this is just all I've been thinking about in terms of gaming since that trailer dropped, because the trailer exceeded my expectations because I didn't know what it was going to look like. Like they teased us with things. They didn't show us anything. They just teased. So we're in the dark, but it's in a really good way because everything looks phenomenal so far.
No, I don't mind being in the dark about it. I mean, we're gonna get shown more stuff as the time goes on. And, and it's kind of adding to the tension about what the game's gonna be like, and I cannot wait. But the only thing I'm afraid about is console. What consoles it's gonna be on?
Yeah, yes, because there's honestly, if it's not coming to PlayStation 4, I really don't know what I'm gonna do because. I mean, I'll have to get a 5, obviously, but you just can't find them now. You just can't. They're so hard to come by.
I don't know. I don't know how I'm gonna get a 5 at all. Even if I do find a 5, I don't know if I'll be able to buy it or not.
Yeah.
I just don't know yet.
Hopefully, let me check something real quick before we end this stream. Resident Evil Village. I believe Village did the same thing where it said captured on PS5, but then it was announced that it was coming to the 4.
So obviously Capcom is smart enough to know that PlayStation 5 is hard to find.
Oh my gosh.
What?
Okay. So I just found out. I'm looking at the description of Resident Evil Village announcement trailer. It says, "Fear surrounds you in Resident Evil Village, unleashing a new chapter of survival horror on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and PC." That's exactly what they said in the Resident Evil 4 remake trailer. They didn't mention the PS4, on the Resident Evil Village announcement trailer, but it did come to 4. So I think it's coming to 4. I really hope.
Yeah, I've seen some rumors that it is. I see. Yeah, it makes sense that they're just not going to tell us that it's coming to PS4, and then later. And then later on, like maybe it's going to be announced in a trailer, or maybe Capcom will just come out and announce it on their Facebook page or whatever that it's going to come to 4. So I think they're just kind of keeping us in the dark about it for now.
Yeah. Let me see. I'm going to check again. See here. It's at the end. Let me see if is it this one? That's April. And this is April, May, June. Okay, so this is. Oh, that's 2021. So let's see. Let's see what the. I know it says captured on something. Like captured on the. What you call it? I think it says captured on PS5 in this trailer somewhere. I'm sure it does. Let's see. Well, okay, let's see here. Let's see what the. Here's the moment of truth. Let's see what this says. Oh my goodness, yep. So it's doing the same thing. I'm looking at the end of the Resident Evil Village trailer. So not only in the description does it say that, it also says PS5, Xbox Series X, and PC. It doesn't mention the 4, but we know that Village came to the 4. So I think we can confirm, especially since it's running on the Resident Evil, the RE engine, that it's going to come to 4. I'm fairly certain it will.
Yeah, and it might come to the 4 before it comes to the 5. Well, maybe, I don't know. Maybe it might come to the 5 before it comes to the 4, and then it gets released for one console or the other the day after or week after or something like that. And I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I think based on the stuff we saw about Resident Evil Village, we can pretty much confirm at some point it'll be released for the 4. Because obviously the PlayStation 4 is a dying breed, but PlayStation 5 is so hard to come by, and Capcom knows this. So, So it's pretty certain. We're pretty certain it'll be for the 4.
Yeah. It looks graphically amazing, but it doesn't look like they built it on a new engine, like completely new. And I don't see why they would, because the RE engine is only 5 years old.
And the RE engine came with Resident Evil 7, did it not?
It did, yes. The RE engine of Resident Evil 7 was the first game to introduce that, followed by Resident Evil 2, and then 3 Remake, and now Village, and then 4.
The RE engine supports PlayStation 4, so
it runs smoothly on the 4, so I'm sure it's going to come to the 4. I hope.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. Now,
it wouldn't make sense for Resident Evil 4 to not come to the 4. Like, come on.
Nice pun. Now, if they did a Code Veronica, let's talk some years in the future after Resident Evil 4 remake is all said and done. Let's say they come out with a Code Veronica remake. Now that by then we won't know, because if it'll come to the 4, that would be cool. But
right, it will be so far into the 5's lifespan, it'll probably by then be all 5 exclusives.
Yeah, most games.
That would be great, though. A Code Veronica would be awesome.
Yes,
I would love to see that.
I love Code Veronica. That was one of my favorite of the older Resident Evil games. It really was. Like, that would be amazing to see. Which, honestly, in my opinion, it would have made sense to do it before 4. But it really doesn't bother me, because we're getting a Resident Evil 4 remake, and it's cool, and it looks really good so far.
It does. I'm sure. My guess for how they're going to reveal Resident Evil 4 Remake, how they're going to progress with the reveals, is I think what they're going to do is maybe in a month or two they're going to release new screenshots, similar to how they did with Village. They released the first trailer and then they dumped some new screenshots of new things we haven't seen. So I think it's going to go the teaser trailer we got for the remake for Resident Evil 4 Remake, new screenshots, and then gameplay. Or maybe gameplay and then new screenshots.
I can't wait to see the gameplay.
I can't either. We got a small sliver in the trailer, which was Leon pushing open the door to the cabin, which it looked just like Resident Evil 2 graphics, which is awesome, because Resident Evil 2 is beautiful.
The ending of the trailer.
That's right. That's gameplay.
Yeah, that looks like gameplay. Yeah.
Oh man,
I just can't wait.
Yeah, I can't believe it's happening.
We gotta wait a year though.
Yeah, we gotta wait till next March.
Yes. Oh man.
Gosh.
Be a good birthday present for you though.
Oh yeah, that is true. Yeah, I think it's like 23rd it comes out, so literally like almost my birthday. So actually, it is 11 months a year. Wait, no, it's not. I'm stupid. No, it's like 9 months, because of March, April, May, not March, June. For some reason, I jumped straight to June. January, February, March,
Time
June.
Traveler. Time travel.
So the way I found out about it was I knew that the PlayStation State of Play was coming, but I just totally forgot to watch it. And then I get a message from Colin that he sends me the link to the remake trailer, and I lost my crap. I literally was running around the house screaming because I just couldn't believe it. I literally couldn't believe it.
I couldn't either. I was just scrolling through my phone one day. I was scrolling through YouTube, just watching different videos and all. So I see Resident Evil 4 Remake. I'm like, no, this can't be real. This is fake, like all the others. So I click on it.
Yeah.
Like, well, this is not fake because it looks new. And I instantly showed it to Job.
Gosh, yes, I was in a party with Noah, and I was at a party with my friend Noah, our friend Noah, and I saw the message and it just said YouTube link at first, and then it expanded, and I literally stood up in my chair, screamed, threw my headset, and started running around. I just could not believe it.
Yeah, yeah, it's like the moment we've been waiting for since we heard the rumors.
Yes, and it was kind of surreal to see the photo because there have been so many fake Resident Evil 4 remake trailers and like mods of like Resident Evil 2 to make it look like, and you open it and then you find out it's fake. It's like, okay, well, this is ridiculous. But then he sent me that and I was skeptical at first because it was the photo of Leon approaching the cabin. I'm like, this is not real. No, I didn't believe it was real because it said PlayStation State of Play, and I just felt this childlike euphoria and nostalgia rush through me because we get to play Resident Evil 4 for the first time again.
Yeah, and of course, if you know Job, you know that he grew up with that game.
I did. My dad and I played it when I was 6 years old.
Yes, of course, I didn't play it till much later.
I watched my dad get his head cut off with a chain. That came out wrong.
You sound like you got some PTSD, Joe.
That's not real. That's a game.
It's just so amazing. Not the chainsaw. I meant the game. I meant the game.
Yeah, this is amazing. Your head's rolling.
But the game, I just can't wait for it.
Yeah,
getting my head chopped off by El Salvador.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that in all its 4K glory, 60 frames per second. I'm gonna love it.
Yeah,
it's gonna be really brutal. That's gonna be a really brutal death animation if you can see that.
I wonder if they'll cut it out or leave it in. That'll be interesting to see.
Oh yeah, because in Resident Evil 6 they cut it out.
Yeah,
they like
did.
pan down and then you see your head flop for a second.
They cut it out in Resident Evil 5 too, I think.
Oh yeah, you're right. They did.
Yeah, but in Resident Evil 4 they just did not care.
Yeah, you just see Leon's head get sliced off. Which reminds me, I know we're kind of drifting not drifting a little, but it reminds me of there's Resident Evil 4 Japan art. If you look it up online, a promo image of Leon getting his head cut off with the chainsaw. Like it's a freeze frame of the chainsaw like halfway in Leon's neck. And I think that was in the cover art too, because I have the original Resident Evil 4 case from 2006, which is probably worth like a sheesh ton of money.
Hey, you still have that?
Yeah.
Wait, is it the one for the GameCube?
Yep, the one for the GameCube, the OG.
You better hold on to that. It's gonna be worth something.
Yeah, but I think if you open that up in the game, oh my gosh, I have the original game manual. That stuff is like sells for. I'm sure it sells for a lot, but yeah. So Resident Evil 4 remake trailer. If you guys have not seen it, please go see it.
Yes. Yes, please. We cannot wait for this game to come out.
Yeah.
If you're Resident Evil fans like us, then
you're in for a treat, I'm sure.
Yes, and it's gonna be great.
All right. Well, for the guy, we actually had a decent amount of viewers that popped in. I hope you guys enjoyed this little talk. I want to do this again because these conversation live stream, this first one we did is actually really fun.
And we should do this more often. We should actually keep up with the Resident Evil 4 as new content is released.
Yes. Yeah, we need to. We need to keep. We'll update you guys as we learn more about the remake. We'll do more streams, and then I'll edit these into videos. But I'm gonna end this stream here. I hope you guys enjoyed the talk.
Yep.
Really, really fun to do.
Yep. This is the first talk we've had together about a video game on stream like this. But anyway, it was fun, and we are gonna keep you updated as yeah. Yep.
Alright, well, thank you guys for watching. Please check out the Resident Evil 4 Remake. Send me an email or leave me a comment if you... I don't know why you send me an email, but leave me a comment. Let me know if you like the remake too.